Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to bring you another video in the 311 Palette of the Week series. And as you saw in the title, today's palette is the Tarteist Pro. This is a beautiful palette, 16 matte shades and 4 shimmers. Now, what I found myself doing is just using the mattes and using shimmers in other palettes because I was struggling to get these shimmers to really show up like I wanted to. So in 2 of the 3 looks today, you will see me put those shimmers to good use. I have 2 other videos on my channel doing looks with this palette, which I will also link below. But in today's video, I've created 3 more looks for you. So if you're interested in seeing the 3 looks that I've created with this, then just keep on watching.
Begin this first look and the next 2, I will have already applied this combination of primers. It's the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eye Primer and the Bare Minerals 5-in-1. And now going into the Tarteist Pro palette, we're going to use the 2 shades Classic and Vintage on the Morphe M208. These I'm going to apply to the brow bone, and then I am going to bring these shades down into the inner corner. This is going to be an all matte look, so we want to make sure that we've got a nice layer of this lighter color to blend our shades up into. Now going in with the Morphe M504 and the 2 shades Innocent and Chic. These 2 combined just create my perfect crease shade. A little bit pink, a little bit of warm brown. It's just really nice. And you'll see that I am taking my time to blend that through the crease, making sure everything looks seamless all along the way. Now taking the Morphe M433, we're going to go into the beautiful warm brown shade called Whimsy. This has a little bit of some orangish tones to it, but I just love it. It's super pigmented, just one tap into that shadow. And you see I placed the majority of the color in the outer corner, and then I'm blending it through the crease, and then ever so slightly bringing that color up towards the brow bone. And again, just taking my time to really make sure this is blended well. Then going back with the M504 and a little more of Innocent, I'm going to use this along the top part of that shadow just to help further blend it seamlessly up towards the brow. Now going in with the Morphe M506 brush, this is just a slightly more precise but slightly fluffy brush. So it has a little more give to it than your typical pencil brush. But I'm using the shade Vamp. Now this is a bluish purple color that for me with my yellow tones to my skin, I have not used much, but I just loved it paired with that warm shade in the crease. So I'm applying this in the outer corner and creating that infamous kind of outer V shape, and then bringing this slightly through the crease. And I just love the combination of those 2 colors blended together. And then I'm going to go in with the Morphe M433 and more of the shade Whimsy, and using that to just further blend that color. Then going in with the Sigma E60 in a combination of Classic and Innocent. I actually am starting off just with Classic, putting that first in the inner 2/3 really of the upper lid, and you can see that just really brightened that up. And then going in now with a little bit of Innocent to kind of create a little bit of a blend there between that darker outer corner. Now one final blend with the Morphe M504 and the Morphe M433, a little bit of that Innocent color and Whimsy. Just again, go in as many times as you need just to make sure everything looks really well blended. Now going in with this itty bitty tiny Urban Decay brown eyeliner. If you saw my Just Use It Up January, you know I've been working through using these up, and I'm happy to say I've finally used this one. But this is Stag, just a dark brown, and I'm using this to create a wedge shape here in the outer corner. I'm not doing a fancy wing or anything, just using this to build up the outer part of the lash line to give the illusion of a more lifted look there. And then going in with this Aesthetica angled brush and a little bit of the dark brown smoked in the palette, and taking this right over the top of that liner, just softens it a little bit, helps set it in place, and covers up any squiggles we made in our line there. So you don't have to be super precise when you're applying that eyeliner. Going back to the M506, I decided I wanted a little more of that Vamp shade there in the outer corner, just to blend it into our eyeliner that we have. And then a little more Whimsy on that M433. Again, just making sure everything fades from one shade to the next. And then a little more of that shade Classic on the innermost part of the eye. Now taking the Aesthetica brush and a little bit of Innocent along the lower lash line. I did not put any pencil down here. I wanted it to be just really soft shadow down there. And then taking the M432 from Morphe and a combination of Vamp and Whimsy, I'm going to use this on the outer portion of the lower lash line, just close to the lashes there to give a little more definition. Then a few little extra blends with the M506 and no extra product, just taking that brush and the M433 just to make sure everything looks soft and blended. Added mascara. This is my favorite trio, the L'Oreal Voluminous Primer, It Cosmetics Superhero, and the Thrive Cosmetics mascara. I'll leave all of this in the description box below. And now taking the E4 from Morphe and the Laura Geller Blush and Brighten in Honeysuckle. This is just a really nice, neutral, kind of warm brown shade blush. It's really pretty. And then taking the Mary Luminizer from the Balm highlighter. And this is just a MAC highlighter fan brush. And this just gave my cheeks a really nice glow. And then I decided I had to have that little bit of shimmer on the inner corner. So added a little bit of that highlight there. For lips, I'm going to use the Avon eyeshadow primer around the edge of my lips. If you saw my lip video I did, you'll understand this just kind of helps keep everything in place. And then I'm going to now go in with the lip liner from NYX. This is in the shade Nutmeg. And again, another item that I was working on using up, and it's so itty bitty tiny. I did use it up finally by the end of the month. But I'm just going to place this all the way around my lips, and then going in with this Kate by Rimmel lipstick, and this is number 44. This is a beautiful nude shade that I had kind of forgotten about, but pulled it out and loved it with this eye look. And then to add a little bling and sparkle, this is the Tarte Bling Park Avenue Princess, and I just liked that extra little bit of bronzy gold that it added to the overall look. So here's our finished look, all matte eye, neutral cheeks, neutral lips. So this is kind of a very monochromatic look. Now going into look number 2, again on my Morphe M208 and the duo of shades, Classic and Vintage, using those along the brow bone highlight. This is going to be a little more of a deeper look. And so again, I am placing a good amount of that so that we have something to blend into. Now taking the Morphe M504, I'm just using Chic this time because this is going to be a little more of a pink plum leaning look. So this shade was perfect in the crease. And again, I'm going to do quite a bit of blending before we add our deeper shades, just to help everything come together seamlessly in the end. So adding this color a few times, this one does take a little bit of building, but I don't mind that at all because it's not flaky and getting all over your under eye. So now going in with the Morphe M433, we're going to go in with the beautiful shade called No Filter. And this is a little bit more of a warmer plum color. It's not as dark as Vamp, and it has a little more warmth also, We're going to use this in the outer corner and then through the crease. And then I'm also going to take this a little bit along the lower lash line. So I'm just kind of trying to set up the shape of the look that I'm going for here with these lighter shades before we go in with darker ones. And again, just adding, building up a little bit and kind of creating a little bit of a V shape there in the outer corner and keeping it really soft out there. Now I'm just showing you the difference in brushes. I'm switching to this Sedona Lace EB09, and this one's just slightly more precise than the M433 from Morphe, and I'm going to use a combination of Drama and Vamp. And if you don't have this brush, you could use like the Morphe E17, just something that is a little more precise but still a little bit fluffy, because I didn't want this to get too dark and vampy out here in the outer corner. But you can see I'm just tapping those colors in there and then just softly blending the edges of those into the shades that we already have laid down. And it's just creating kind of a purpley tone there in the farthermost outer corner, and then going in with that same brush and a little more Drama. Going to use this on the inner corner or the inner part of that outer corner, and it's just going to add a little more hint of some reddish purple there. Going back to the M433 and more no filter, going to put a little more of this through the crease. I'm trying to do as much blending as possible before laying down the shimmer shades. So you will see we're going to use a cream shadow, and once you do that, it can blend away if you have to do a lot of blending after you lay this down. So this is by Julep, and this is Burgundy Shimmer. And I have to be honest, this is not great on its own. It worked great as a base. I just wanted something to give a little extra kind of burgundy color there and give the shimmer shades in this palette something to stick to. But you will see in a moment, I placed this all over about 3/4 of the way across the lid. And as I'm just tapping it in, most of the color blended away. So I did add a little bit extra, but again, I didn't really care. I just kind of wanted a sticky base to apply the powder shimmer shade that we're going to apply from the palette. So now we're going in with Minx, and I'm going to use my finger and tap this on. So in the introduction, I said these shimmer shades need help. This is what I meant. So by putting down some kind of a shadow stick or something here, and that will give them something to cling to, that really makes a difference. So again, I'm taking my finger and just patting a couple layers of that all across the lid, and then going in now with the Morphe E17 and a combination of Vamp and Drama. I'm just going to again pat this on the outer corner and just make sure there's a nice soft blend from the outer corner into that shimmer shade. But you can see I took that shimmer shade 3/4 of the way across the lid because I wanted that to be the main color that we saw. Just taking my various brushes, this is the EB09, just going back and just kind of softly blending the edge of that shimmer shade, and then taking the M504 for one last go around to make sure everything's well blended. And again, we did most of the blending up front, so that made it easy once we did the shimmer shade. Now I'm doing the Urban Decay eyeliner in the color Rockstar. This is a great kind of plummy purple shade, but neutral leaning, so it doesn't look too garishly purple. It's neutral enough you could wear it every day. So I just placed this around about halfway along on the lower lash line and blended up into the outer corner there. And then taking the Aesthetica angled brush and some no filter, just putting that right over the top of where we applied that eyeliner to soften the line a little bit. And then same brush and Chic and Pro Fresh, I believe, no, Profesh, using those two colors to, again, further soften that lower lash line. And I like to use the lighter shade the closer in you get to the inner corner. Now going in with the Stila Stay All Day liquid liner. I do like this one, but still prefer either the IT Cosmetics Superhero liner or the Kat Von D Tattoo liquid liner. But this one works well. I was using it up, so it provides a nice thin line. The applicator is soft and easy to use. It's just, I think, takes a little more strokes to get that line than the other two. But I just laid down a thin line along the lashes, and then taking this from the lower lash line up towards the brow, I'm creating a slight little wing there. And this is the trick. If you have a hard time, you just lay that liner on its side and gently pull from the outer corner in towards your lash line. Now taking the e.l.f. smudge brush and a little bit of the color Bold, which is not bold at all, kind of funny, but using that to, again, just further soften that lower lash line and blend it out. And then with the ColourPop angled liner, I'm taking the shade No Filter and just touching this on the tip of where that black liner ended. And I like to do this because then it's a little less obvious where your liner ends and where the shadow begins. And taking the Morphe M433, a little bit of Chic, and just doing a little bit of final blending. I usually do this after I get everything on, look straight ahead in the mirror, do some more blending, and then applied mascara. And now taking the Sigma E30 and a little bit of the brightest shade Vintage, using that on the inner corner to highlight. And you can see what a difference that brightened inner corner makes with this. And then adding a little bit of Classic just to further blend that out. For cheeks today, I'm using NARS Madly Blush. I have not used this in forever, but I love this blush. It's a very nice neutral blush using the E4 from Morphe. This is just a great shade that does not compete with the more bold eye looks. Now going in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay highlighter in the shade Stunner. This is a beautiful highlighter, and I have not used it in a while. Using the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush, put that on the cheeks, and then I couldn't resist adding a little bit of it on the inner corner of the eye, and you will see the difference between the right eye and the left eye. Yeah, we like that brighter inner corner. Now going into lips, I applied the Avon Eye Primer around the edge of my lips. And then for my lip liner, I'm using this one from Koki. This is a brand that is carried at Walmart. And this is the shade Dusty Rose. It's a beautiful shade, really soft liner. It smells like plastic though, but I'm happy to say I did use this up entirely, and it really is a pretty shade. So I filled in the entire lip with the liner, and then I'm applying the Balm Jour lip stain in the shade Salute. This is from the Balm Cosmetics, and it smells a little bit like peppermint. And these are a really cool, unique product. They have good color payoff, but they have kind of the shine of the lipstick, but they're also very long lasting and comfortable on the lips. So I really enjoy these. Would love to get some more colors in those. And now I decided I needed a little bit of a pink tint on the cheeks. So I added the Hourglass Ambient Blush in the shade Radiant Magenta, and it added just enough little bit of pink to tie in with the plum tones on the eyes, and that's our finished look. So a little more dramatic, but not too deep and dark and scary, and I just loved how that plum shimmer looks on the lid. For our third look, I am going in with the same two shades, Classic and Vintage, but I'm using some different brushes because I was getting ready to leave town that day and had already packed my other ones. So this is the Morphe M524, just a big fluffy brush, and applied that along the brow bone, and then using my spare M504 and a little bit of Innocent. I'm going to put this through the crease, and I'm applying a pretty decent amount of that, going back in a couple times to build up that color. And again, just kind of sweeping it out towards the edge of the brow. Now I'm going straight to the lash line. Again, I'm using my tiny little Urban Decay Stag dark brown eyeliner, and I'm doing the trick that I did, I think it was in my last 311 with the Too Faced Bonbons palette. And what I'm going to do is really lift the edge of the outer corner. And so I'm going to keep dragging this liner up towards the tail of the brow and then towards the center of the lash line. And so it's really going to give my eyes a very lifted look there on the outer corner. And so I'm doing a pretty thick line on the outer edge and then going very super thin and close to the lashes as I get into the middle of my lash line. And again, just kind of dragging that out, and then before it dries, I'm going to go in. This is just a pencil brush from Morphe, and I'm going to blend the edge of that in towards the center of the lid and down towards the lashes. I'm not blending up towards the brow because I don't want this to get out of control. So blending down towards the lashes and towards the center of the lid is the easiest way to keep this under control. And then just adding a little extra darkness right on the lash line there, and then going in with the color Whimsy on the Morphe M433. I'm really going to apply a good amount of this in the outer corner and through the crease. And I'm going to be just kind of playing with some colors that you wouldn't expect to put together. So I'm taking the Luxie brush. This is the 239 Precision Shader, and I'm going in with that bright fuchsia pink. It's called Maud, and I'm patting this on the outer corner, and I just love how this shade looks with that color Whimsy. Just something about those two shades together I just love. So you're going to see me go back and forth between these two shades several times. I didn't want to put too much Maud down, so it got too hard to blend. And so I'm just going slow, adding a little bit of that, and then going in with the pencil brush and more smoked. I'm going to then darken that outer corner, and we're just kind of playing with the depth out here in the outer corner. So you can go as dark as you want, but I wanted a pretty decent level of depth out here in the outer corner. So going back with this, and again, just over the place where we laid down that eyeliner, the Urban Decay eyeliner there, and blending again down and towards the lash line. And then back with our M433, first with no product, just kind of softening the edge. And yes, I needed a bang trim. So now we're going back with a little more Maud on that shader brush. And some of this does get blended away. So you'll see me add this a few times just to get the level of brightness. But I definitely wanted to see this shade in the look. Now going in with the Essence 2-in-1 eyeshadow, cream eyeshadow pencil. I am sorry, I did not know these had been discontinued, but if you have any shimmery shade, this is the one in Peach Perfect, but anything close, you just want, again, a sticky base, and I wanted something with a little hint of a peach or pink, and then I'm going to go over the top of it with the shade Glam, and I'm using the Sigma E60. And again, same thing as I did with the plum shade, the Minx. These shimmer shades just need something to cling to. So I definitely needed that cream base there. So any cream base you have, and then I'm adding a little bit of ethereal right where the outer colors and that inner shimmer shade meet. So just kind of doing a nice little gradient there, and then picking up just a little more Maud. Again, I wanted to see this shade there, but didn't want any harsh line where the color stopped. Now I'm taking the NYX Faux Blacks eyeliner in the shade Oxblood and doing this along the lower lash line there. And this is a really pretty shade. I love it. It kind of is the perfect mix between a little bit of red, but you'll see we can add a little bit of some more pink tones to it just to make it blend well. So I'm going to use the shade Maud, and this is a Sedona Lace angled brush. Again, different brushes because I'd packed my favorites, and then adding a little bit of the shade Innocent on the inner part of that lower lash line to further blend and soften that edge. And then taking that angled brush and adding just a little bit of smoked right at the lash line. Using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Mad Max Brown, my all-time favorite liquid liner in a dark, deep brown. This is what I use when I can't decide if I want black or brown liner. And I'm really not doing anything too fancy, just a tiny little flick on the edge, keeping it really close to the lash line. Now look what a difference full face of foundation and bronzer and all of that does. I added the Avon primer to the outside edge of my lips, and now I'm going in with the MAC lip liner in Absolutely It. This is their Pro Longwear formula, and this is by far the better of their formulas. Now, I will say the pencil itself does dry out a little bit faster than their other ones, but it sticks around for a long time. And now I'm going in with this buxom full-on lip color. I'll have to look for the exact name, but this is in the shade Come to Dolly, and it's just a beautiful kind of medium rose tone, and I just loved it. It reminded me a lot of that shade Maud in the palette, but it wasn't so bright that it made me uncomfortable to wear. So I actually wore this traveling, this whole makeup look traveling, and it was great. Now for blush, I'm going in with another one of my favorites. This is the Bare Minerals Beige for Days blush. Again, very neutral, but it has just a little bit of kind of a pinky peach shade that makes it work great for me. And then my favorite, Mary Luminizer highlighter, tops of the cheeks, bridge of the nose, fix the hair there, and we are done. So this is the final finished look. I hope that you guys enjoyed that and that you enjoyed seeing 3 more looks put together with this palette. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.